advisory board of 3DSE. I'd like to welcome you very warmly. And yes, we are very happy to have you here as a very experienced engineer in automotive with over 40 years of experience, various positions from BMW to Faraday, co-founder of Canoo, then of course Apple as a lead of special projects, and now you're here, and I'm happy to have you here, and I would like to have a small discussion with you about some topics around automotive and major pain points or challenges today. And I'd like to see what your view is, what your experience is there, and let's see what we will discuss.
All right. No, thank you very much, Tim, and I'm happy to join 3DSE, and thank you for inviting me. So I'm more than happy to at least to try to answer questions.
Perfect. Let's try. So my first question would be: so there is a huge pressure and competition from China. They are attacking the European as well as US market with SDVs, electrified, so most of them are BEVs. And my question would be to you, what are these players from China doing differently in terms of architectures and technologies they are focusing on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the thing is, I think that right now the vehicles or the products that are on the road from Chinese companies, I would say they are very well manufactured and they are very well designed. And the thing is that their EVs, they are, I would consider, state of the art at the moment, because they used most of the time during the pandemic to continue developing their platforms and their architecture. And they have, I would say, in comparison to Europe or the US, an advantage of a couple of years of development. So they are pretty much ahead of the competition. The other thing is, what they also did not stop to work on is on autonomous driving. As you can see, vehicles that are launched in China today, they all have at least, I would say, a level 3 or level 2 plus autonomy on board. So it's not an option. They're coming with LiDAR sensors and lots of cameras and everything that is needed from the processor speeds. So this is something where I think they are pretty much advanced.
Okay. And when we look to the R&D organizations and the setups of these players, what is the biggest difference you see between, I would say, classical Western R&D setups and Chinese or Asian R&D setups?
Yeah, the setup might be the first thing. What you see, they are very quick in developing and launching new products. The other thing is that they are also very fast in ramping up production. If you look at just some recent companies from the digital world, like Huawei, they launch one product and they ramp up the production volume within weeks, where the rest of the world takes months. So there's one thing. So that means there are processes behind to make quick decisions when it comes to the development, but also to manufacturing. And as far as I know, they have different architectural clusters, or they have a sandbox where they design a couple of key components, and these key components have to fit into that structure, and they use the components, I would say, all over a complete product line without any major changes, even not minor changes. And this is something what makes them quick, faster, and also less expensive when it comes to development. The other thing is, since I was a bit involved during the time at Canoo, they have less committees and less hierarchy in comparison to European traditional OEMs.
Okay. And when we take a closer look to the part of electromobility in that sense, so we see that China, or especially Asia is advancing fast in that areas, and the market is growing over there. And on the other side, we see electromobility here under pressure, so especially in Europe and the US. So the cost of batteries are quite high, the subsidies are decreasing, and the pressure is there, not only for OEMs, also for the Tier 1s and TX suppliers. So what would be your advice or recommendation how to approach that current situation there?
Yeah, that's a tricky question. So I don't have the solution for all of that. One thing is they just focused on electromobility rather than having a legacy on combustion engine development and all the complex powertrain components. So they have a streamlined supply chain, and their suppliers, they just supply components that are needed for electric vehicles. And this is what makes them also quicker, and they are also, I would say, also ahead of the rest of the competition. Because having no legacy, you don't have the headcount and everything that is needed still today. And they also have no architecture that is used for both combustion engine powertrain and electric powertrains. They just are laser focused on electromobility, and that makes it a bit easier because there are also less components and less complexity.
So would you say that Western economies should focus more or dive through that current situation?
Yeah, the Western companies in the US and in Europe, I think this is what they are doing currently. So they are all now more focused on electromobility. Big OEMs, they have completely moved away from the traditional combustion engine powertrain towards electromobility, and the same goes for the E/E architecture. So they are starting developing their own software, and this is something what the Chinese already did.
Okay. Software is a good aspect of that. So in that area, so software is considered as a game changer in automotive currently, and I think everybody is on that topic currently. Over-the-air updates and so on are very crucial currently to be able to sustain in competition. My question is what are the key capabilities companies need to focus on to really be successful in that game of software-driven vehicles?
I think that's also something that at least the European and US companies are now focusing on, is that the main driver for the next generation of products is software and E/E, vehicle architecture. It's not the traditional hardware or vehicle structure and architecture that sets the pace. The pace is set by software. And this is something what some of the Chinese companies did already very early on. I would say they started maybe 10, 12 years ago in developing their own operating system for the vehicle, but not only that, also all the electronic control units, including the processors and the speed that is needed to manage such a complex data. This has already been done or started very early. So in Europe and US, we are maybe a bit behind. The other thing what makes it also maybe a bit less complex in China, they don't want to optimize every single bit and every single component. So they are happy if they have a good mid-size structure that they can launch very, very quick, and then upgrade the whole thing over the air, just putting some software patches into the vehicle in a very quick way. Tesla did that as a role model as well. So at the very beginning, it might not be the most sophisticated system, but it is fast in the market or in the product, and over time they launch some updates that makes keeps the product fresh.
When we have a look at the entire R&D organization and the delivery model, so typically OEMs or Tier 1s are developing and then launching and then bring it to the market. When it comes to speed and currently the topic of efficiency, R&D efficiency is becoming more and more, I would say, crucial to survive in that market. And what are, from your perspective, levers to, on the one hand, increase speed and efficiency in R&D without losing quality? Because this is a tension field which needs to be balanced. So what is your view on that?
Yeah, the one thing what I know from my experience is also that the Chinese companies, they don't have that many suppliers as the Europeans or the American OEMs have.
Mm-hmm.
They only have a few suppliers. They are more focused on system suppliers.
Mm-hmm.
But the OEM also sets the pace. That means so they are in charge of software development,
Mm-hmm.
and the suppliers, they usually supply the hardware according to the need of the OEM in China, and not in a way as in Europe we did that. We had suppliers, they have their own layer of software, and then we have lots of interfaces in the vehicle, and then we have to discuss every bit and every functionality with the supplier. That makes it slow and pretty complex. And the other thing is some of the Chinese big companies, they have their own suppliers as well. So that means they belong into the organization of the one or the other car brand.
So that means they are more vertically integrated.
Yes.
In a sense.
Yes.
So, okay, understood. So there's also another topic which is currently discussed a lot. It's new business models within automotive.
Mm-hmm.
So because the client is not simply buying a product,
Right.
it's about car sharing, leasing models,
Mm-hmm.
maybe other models as well. Do you see a direction? How could or would the future look like in that area?
I would say, of course, the direction goes away from selling vehicles. So even today, most of the vehicles that are on the road are leased, some sort of leasing model. And I think there is more a model that goes into the direction of a subscription model, where you subscribe and give the customer more freedom, that they can decide, okay, I keep the product for as long as I want or for as short as I want. So this is something that already started in the digital world. So if you look at some companies in the media, they all have subscription models.
Yeah.
So they don't sell you a certain package. So they give the customer the freedom to make their own choices, drop the thing if they want to, or extend it or keep it as long as they want. So this is definitely something what I see, but not only in China. This is a model that one will see in the US first and then in Europe as well.
And to summarize, so when you look across the globe to all that markets and the automotive industry as such, are you more positive or are you concerned of the directions economies and the companies in automotive are developing?
No, I think I'm more positive because individual products like an automobile will be needed in the future in the same way as today. Maybe it will be sold or offered in a different way, but there will be probably more car sharing, but there's still a demand for individual mobility. So I don't expect anything major to change there. If you think about autonomous driving, that we might see in, maybe I hope in about 10 years or so, and you look at Waymo, of course there are more individuals using one vehicle, so that means the demand might be a bit lower, but there are also more individuals that are going to buy vehicles so in the future. So there will still be a growth for the automobile, but it might be used in a different way.
Okay, so thank you, Ulrich.
You're welcome.
For the insights and valuable discussion. And yes, I'm looking forward to the collaboration with you and maybe some further discussions on interesting topics.
Great, same here. Thank you.
Thank you.